Renee,
Here.
Louis,
Here.
Newell,
Here.
and Robert told me he was not able to make the meeting tonight.
He is absent. Okay, let's rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any public comment tonight on anything that's not part of the agenda?
So I just wanted to come by and introduce myself. My name is Julio Tejeda. I'm with South Florida Water Management District. I'm new to the area covering all of Broward. I handle the governmental affairs. Just wanted to come by, introduce myself. Feel free to reach out to me at any point. I do have cards with me if anybody would like to. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, very good. Let's move into number 5, old business. Let's start with approval of the minutes of August last month. Hang on one second. I'm not sure if the corrections were made on Newell's last motion. Yes, they were. Okay, or were they? Yep, it was.
Motion to approve. Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous, passes. 5B, South Florida Water Management District, response on easements west of US 27. And you have an email in your packet that has the response that we received. Jeff, you want to address it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Tell us what it means.
Okay, we got a response that the...
Can you just give the quick summary of the issue?
Yeah, well, it's a quick response. There's not much to
No,
it.
but what it's a response to?
It's a response, okay. Essentially, the South Florida Water Management District contacted the town administrator's office and asked for the town to deed over 3 strips of undeveloped land that are town rights of way. They're like 20 feet wide. They date back to about 1900 or so from the original plat of the area. The board has, the issue was referred to the board, and the board has discussed it at a few meetings and essentially wanted more information on the request. Why are they asking for it, what's going to be done with it, etc. And you have been provided with a response. And that response is that there's a joint Water Management District and Army Corps of Engineers SERP project, which I'm not particularly familiar with, between the water conservation area, which is west of the levee, and Highway 27. The project lands, including these land strips, would be part of a water seepage management area and would be included for certification and credit purposes with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. There are no plans for development or expansion of the existing Broward County Water Preserve area, which is also known as the Water Conservation Area west of the levee. Water Management District will pay for the recording of the conveyance instrument and from the town to the Water Management District. That's the response that we got.
Okay, so
Okay, what's a SERP?
I think we have someone here who can
What's
talk
a what?
all about that.
So SERP is the Central Everglades Restoration Project, basically. So it's fixing, undoing what a lot of what had been done in the past to sort of drain, like they say, the swamps. So we're trying to fix it.
Okay.
trying to fix prior drainage of the swamps.
Prior drainage
Okay.
of the swamp, trying to restore that natural flow from Lake O all the way to the Everglades Park.
So my question for you, Jeff, is where it says there are no plans for development. What could be done if their plans change, if anything? Is there anything we need to be concerned about?
I can't really answer the question as to whether there's anything to be concerned about. I mean, these little strips are very insignificant in the scheme of all the acreage that water management owns out there. So I don't think this is, I don't think that quit claiming these little strips is gonna impact the town in any real way. If the town did want to retain some kind of control over the fate of that area and what happens, and the town could subject these strips to a restricted covenant, for example.
Deed restrictions.
Mhm. But the request is, you know, it's one government agency trying to work with another. This is a regional issue. And I think there's a public benefit for the town and everybody down here in the Everglades ecosystem. So that's my assessment of this.
Does anybody?
Chair, if I may,
Go
we
ahead.
did meet with South Florida Water Management District, and we pointed out that they didn't ask for all of the strips, and they now want all of the strips.
Okay. How many more? Because you said it's 3, right? So far?
There's a total of 7, I believe,
Okay.
so,
7.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would it hurt to put some sort of protection in there?
You know, and I think if someone's gonna make a motion, it should
Well,
recommend that anything we recommend to town council include deed restrictions, that it can't be developed, cannot be developed. So, but if somebody wants to make a motion,
I also have one other question. We've got the Florida Power and Light transmission area out there. And there's a road that goes from 27 out to it. That appears to be one of the strips that they want to get back, given back. Should we give that one back? Yeah.
do you have any comment?
Otherwise, Florida Power and Light probably would have to come all the way in from,
They probably have any access easement.
probably from the trailer park in Pembroke Pines into there.
So right now, they have the FPL has an easement across one of these strips? Is that what you
East-west. The only other access would be from the trailer park along the dike down to it from the north.
I would suggest that if the board wants to make a motion to recommend the abandonment of these strips with any attached conditions such as a deed restriction, that you also just provide a comment that to ensure that the town doesn't do it in any way that's going to interfere with
Existing easement?
legal access to the Florida Power and Light property, and we'll research it for the council and have everything in place so that that's not disrupted.
Okay,
You wanna make that motion?
I'll make that motion. We give up.
Do you got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any further conversation on it? Anybody? Any conversation? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It's unanimous, passes. Let's move on to 5C. And I don't think there's anybody here for that, so let's just call a vote. I'm kidding.
That's what I was gonna say.
So let's pick up where we left off. You want to go ahead and give us any introduction here, Jeff?
Sure, I think almost everybody here looks familiar, but there's probably a few new faces.
Raise your hand if you were here last month. Mostly.
Okay, yeah. So, this is an item that's been discussed at the council level, in terms of, considering a change to the town's code enforcement policy. The town, generally has a reactive code enforcement posture, meaning there needs to be a complaint, to initiate code enforcement, investigation. There are some issues in the town that are subject to proactive code enforcement, and the council was discussing the idea of going proactive as it pertains to illegal businesses. This wound up in front of this board because the council basically wanted more input, and a lot of these types of land use and zoning issues wind up in front of this board for a recommendation. At the last meeting, what was discussed was a desire from business owners, council members, and the board to grandfather those illegal businesses so that they would not be subject to any type of code enforcement, whether it be reactive or proactive. So that was the direction that they gave me, was to go ahead and come up with criteria that would allow at least the compatible businesses that are not legal to be grandfathered. And we talked about the idea of, there are some of these businesses are good neighbors, some of them are not good neighbors. Some of that's based on the individual operating the business, some of it's what is the business. Some businesses are just not compatible in a residential area. So the idea was to come up with criteria that would be used to determine which businesses get grandfathered. And it wouldn't necessarily be what type of business, but it might be the scale of the business, But that was something that we were going to discuss today. However, it kind of got shut down at the legal level by the town attorney's office from the get-go because they said it's not legal to grandfather uses that weren't legal in the first place. You have to be legal to be grandfathered, if there's a change. So we're sort of back to where you started the last meeting, which is you have a draft policy in the form of a resolution that's based upon proactive enforcement with an amortization or a period given that the business is given to comply based on either the number of years that the business has been in operation on that property or the amount of money that's been spent getting permits for improvements, on that property and the actual value of those permits, the value of the construction. And essentially, it would be the greater of the two that would determine how long a business has before it has to comply. And the longest period was about 2 years. The shortest was 30 days for compliance.
Okay, how has this changed from last month, if at all?
It is not.
It's exactly the same as it was?
Exactly the same, yeah.
Okay. At this point,
Go ahead.
I'd like to delete section 2. Make a motion to delete section 2.
We can't go back.
Delete section 2. Is what he said.
Delete the section that says the town council hereby approves the proactive code enforcement of illegal businesses within the town.
That's right.
Do we have a second? Hearing none?
Okay. Motion fails.
Okay. Do we have first of all, do we have we need to get a motion before us, before we open it up? Anybody want to make a motion to approve or to make any other changes?
I'll make a motion to approve with an extended amortization period for the businesses that would have been grandfathered.
Extended
I don't know
in what
to
way?
what degree, but in terms of the compliance that,
So
Okay.
what's the numbers you want to use?
I thought we could discuss them. Do I need to have an action?
Yeah,
on that?
you do. Yeah, that's the numbers.
Well, I can help with that.
Okay, help with that, Louis.
So if we were to grant, I would say probably the maximum length of amortization for a business that satisfies the criteria that we would ultimately come up with would be probably in the range of probably 15 years, possibly a little bit more. And I'm basing that on the farm, when the Florida statutes changed and the state took away the agricultural classification from a lot of our properties that were hobby farms but didn't meet the new definition for a farm. We gave, I believe it was 15 to 20 years, and I'll verify that.
Yeah, it was 2013 and we gave till 2035, I think.
So, yeah.
So how would you, if the number was 15, tell me how it would fit into this table on page 2.
What we would do is, page 2 with the schedule of compliance deadlines would be a secondary consideration. So before this would be criteria for businesses that would be considered compatible. We would spell out those criteria, and any business that meets them is then subject to that amortization, which is whatever, 20 years, whatever it might be. For the businesses that are not meeting the criteria, you would go to Schedule C. And Schedule C would apply.
I have a question.
Is there a second? I don't think there was a second.
No.
Not yet.
No, there's not. Go ahead.
If I'm understanding this correctly, we're looking to add an additional item to the current list of proactive code enforcement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's
So
correct.
if it's approved at this level, it'll then go to the town council and it'll require a 4-to-1 vote? Is that
No.
Or is it 5 to 0 now, right?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know, I think it's a majority.
Yeah, I think it's a majority.
Because
That's not a change of zoning.
Was it changed recently, the proactive
If law's
enforcement?
proactive, it's 5-0.
It's 5-0, right?
Yeah, it's 5-0.
Okay.
So whatever we decide here, the council then has to be unanimous in order for this to change. I think the reason for that is, most of us don't want to see anything added to the proactive code enforcement.
Oh, I didn't.
And I think maybe that's why we have a room full of people. So
Yeah.
it's important to,
Well, you wouldn't second my motion.
well,
Proactive.
I'd rather get rid of the whole thing. But I think,
We have to return it to the council.
right,
Council sent it to us, so we have to do something with
Now,
it.
now, understand, it doesn't have to be returned approved. You know,
That's
if
right.
this
That's
board,
right.
this board either is going to approve it or not approve it, or approve it with modifications.
And
You know,
we'll-
but whatever it is, we're, you know, I mean, right now, if we don't have a motion, you know, that's gonna get us anywhere, we're done.
The discussion is over,
We're done,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
in my opinion, if it's gonna hurt horses, it's gonna hurt farms, I don't support it.
That's
Let's
not what we're
just
talking
clarify something though. Louis, since you weren't here at the last meeting, there are probably numerous folks in the audience today that would be subject to this ordinance, but there were some that are not, that mistakenly thought they would be. And those are the kind of things that there was a perception that there would be agricultural
Right,
businesses.
That's what I heard you explain.
And that's not the case, because an agricultural business is a legal business, all right? Whether or not you have an ag classification or not, if it's agricultural, then it's okay. If you have an ag classification, then on a commercial level, that's okay.
What
And-
happens
and-
if you lose that ag classification?
That's a whole nother issue, But if you have an ag classification, if you're an agricultural use, this does not apply. If you have a retail nursery, a retail component, and you meet the code, there's specific provisions for where you can do retail, this doesn't apply. If you have 2 take-home commercial vehicles, and you operate a home business, and the residents of that property drive those vehicles, that's not subject to this ordinance. So, just want to make sure we don't go back there again.
So I had asked Jeff last month if there's some way he could add some language in here with examples of what are legal businesses, what are permitted. And I think that my request was overly broad. And, you know, the response that ultimately came back was, we have a whole section on the code, you know, we can't, you know, other than referencing it, we can't put it here. So it's gonna be up to people to, you know, look and see what does the code say about illegal businesses. So, and understand, we're not changing what's legal or illegal. We're only changing whether code enforcement, and when I say we, we're only recommending to council whether code enforcement should be able to be proactive as opposed to only reactive on the illegal businesses.
You've got to remember this also. if we do not do anything, or we reject this out of hand, the code now states, you only got 30 days, then you turn into a pumpkin. So every business that this would affect or give additional time to, the code now states 30 days. And that's it. We're trying to expand it out a little bit to give people more time to alleviate the problem that they have. That's what this resolution's about.
That's part of it.
That's part of it.
That's part of it.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Do I
So-
understand if we don't have a second, then the discussion for this now ends and we move to the next part of the meeting?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, because not everybody out here understood that last time,
Yeah.
so.
Well, last time we had motion, we had second, and we got into discussion. So as of now, we don't have a second to any motion. So, you know, you made a motion. Do we have a second for Renee's motion?
We're exactly where we were the last meeting when section 2, not deleted, I simply said, the way it stands in section 2, it's not gonna pass the council. You're not gonna get 5 votes, guaranteed.
We have.
You need to send
we-
something
no,
back
no,
to the
but-
council can work with.
Right, we have to get through this either way. And whether that is send
don't
them,
wanna handle it,
whether it's
don't
send
do
them
that.
something they can work with, or send them nothing,
I cannot go forward with section 2 still in there.
okay? Well, we had a motion, do we have a second? I don't hear any. Do we have any other motions relating to item 5C on our agenda? Hearing none, move on to new business. Any new business? Guys, I'm sorry you're not going to have a chance to speak, but yes, Mr. Mayor.
I do want to take a moment to address the group here that all came out and just make a few comments if I can.
Please, go right ahead.
I appreciate it. So I do appreciate you all coming out and the interest that you have in this topic. I know it goes near and dear to your families and your livelihood. This is a topic that we embarked on, I'm going to say about 3 or 4 months ago, because there is a real problem in town. And through this journey, I've had multiple conversations with Jeff, I've had multiple conversations with Keith, I've had multiple conversations with Russell, and I've had countless conversations with you all as residents. And as we've gone through this process, what I have heard, or maybe I should put it in the opposite, what I have not heard was a clear direction on anything that I felt comfortable would make this situation better. There's things we can try and throw out there, but this is your livelihood. This is not something to be just, hey, let's give this a shot, see what that does. And some have, can give little tweaks better here, or little tweaks worse there. I'm not willing to do that with your livelihood either. And so actually I appreciate where the board ended up tonight. Because unfortunately, I'm gonna go back to where I started, we've got a problem. But we just don't have a good solution for it. So this is what I would propose to you. No ordinance change, no change specifically from the town itself. But this is what I would propose to you, is that we have a ton of businesses. Many of them are sitting right here in this room, and you all are representing them, of quality individuals who have been here a long time, have obeyed the rules, and have been tremendous neighbors and respectful neighbors to those who are around. Maybe the business isn't legal, but you've done it the right way, just like as if it was legal, and you've treated your neighbors well, and you've treated them the way they should be. And I know I've got a neighbor next to me that has an illegal business. We're very good friends. A couple of times over the, 15 years that he's lived there, 2-3 times, there's been situations that came up in his yard where I'm like, this is really stepping over the line. This is taking away from the peaceful enjoyment of my property based on what you're doing on your property. And every one of those times, Steve, I apologize, I get what you're saying, and within a week it was resolved. That's what we need to be for one another. That's what we need to do. Now, am I naive enough to think that that's going to happen all over our town automatically? Obviously. But that's plan A in my mind. That's plan A, and that's where we need to be. And I think if we do that, a lot of these issues will go away. Now, there are situations where that's not possible, where there's individuals out there that are not respectful of their neighbors, that are blatantly doing things to disrupt the peaceful enjoyment of their neighbor's property, and they may actually come out and say it, but they may not come out and say it, but they don't really care. They're going to operate their business where they're going to operate their business and force them to do elsewhere. Those are the tough ones. That's the problem when I say we have a problem, that's the problem that I'm pointing to. So where am I going to go with that? What's the answer to that? I believe you all are the answer to that problem. Right there, it's been handled many times through your conversations. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. You all have been great. Many problems have been resolved because you've gone to your neighbors and said, hey, listen, this isn't right, we need to fix this. Have you been able to accomplish that in all the situations? No, you haven't. And sometimes it has to go to code and it has to get handled in a way that nobody wants to. But I believe that by this group and by the council, I'm assuming is not going to take any action on it. I'm looking to you all to partner with us. And I want you to know that. I want you to know that right up front, that I'm looking for you all to partner with us to help regulate and help rein in those businesses that are doing something similar to what you're doing, but doing it in a way that's disrespectful to others. And then the third part is those, if we can't do it, if you can't do it, then the town will go after you. Because there's two sides. Yeah, it's great. It's great. See, we all came out here to be left alone. I came out here to be left alone. But by me being left alone, I can't take away your right to be left alone. That's where the line goes over. And so we have to protect that. And if somebody is blatantly not following the law, they're blatantly not following the advice that you all can give them, then they're going to have to pay the price. And I won't apologize for that. And so I think that's where we're at. And I think that's where we should be at. Because we're one community, we're one group, and we need to have this dialogue and this conversation to be able to resolve this in a way that is equitable and fair to everyone. So that's my stance on it. And if you have any questions, have any comments, have any disagreements or anything, you all have my phone number. It's right on there. So give me a call. I'm happy to talk to you about it. But I actually, I'll finish up with one. I don't want to talk forever, but I'll say one other thing. I actually think discussions like this are no fun, but I think they're important to us as a town. For us to be able to get this group together and have a dialogue, not so much tonight because it was kind of short-sighted, but we've had it. We've had two workshops for the council, in front of the council. I was on the phone last month, but there certainly was a lively discussion here last month. And so, but it's that kind of discussion that I know I learned from, I believe all the council learns from, I believe all these board members listen to and learn from. And that's what it's about, that communication back and forth, so that we can arrive at the right solution. So I'll stop there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate it. Number 6, new business. We have none. Do we, Emily?
No, we do not.
Okay. Staff comments? Emily, Jeff? Board member comments? All right. Items for next meeting, we'll get before the next meeting. Before I adjourn, I just want to thank everybody for coming out. I apologize for those who wanted to speak and didn't get to speak, but you don't snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. So, yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, before everybody gets out,
I'm trying to start, I think I've mentioned a bunch of times at each meeting.
Guys, hang on 1 second, please. Go ahead.
A veterans group. If you're a veteran, know a veteran or whatever, get in touch with me. I just got a name this evening. Gonna get a veterans group going. We have the names of the 24 totally and permanently disabled. I have 15 names on the list. So within a couple months or so, we'll be able to have coffee and donuts. But I'd like to get that together for anybody here in Southwest Ranges. All right? Just have to get in touch with me. Appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Also, bingo in the barn, Saturday, September 27th, that supports our.
Hang on, guys, hang on.
Please come, please be there, it's a fun night.
Okay, thank you, everybody, we're adjourned.
Saturday, September 27th.
Thank you, Emily.